The first scream wasn't heard, it was felt. Across 3 monitoring stations and a drifting cargo hub, systems spiked for half a second. Pressure alarms, life support anomalies, then static. The transport Selene 9 vanished somewhere beyond Jupiter's shadow. Official reports called it a navigation error. Unofficially, they called it a kidnapping. Her name was Dr. Evelyn Ward, xenobiologist, 28, quiet, disciplined, the sort of person whose voice could calm a lab full of panicked cadets. The message she left behind was only 3 words. They found us. No one knew who they were, not yet. The feed ended mid-sentence, and humanity's pulse shifted. The Committee on Lunar 1 debated for 12 hours before silencing the news. Earth wasn't ready for another crisis. Not after Mars. Not after Titan. But rumors travel faster than ships. Within a day, the underground nets buzzed with one question: where's Evelyn? Then came the footage, grainy, intercepted, untraceable. It showed an alien vessel, black as absence, dragging Selene 9 by invisible threads. Somewhere in that silence, a single heartbeat persisted, human and defiant. They thought it was just another lost ship. They didn't understand what taking a human meant. On the alien craft, she woke to cold light and the steady hiss of containment fields. Her wrists were bound by translucent coils that adjusted when she moved. She didn't panic. Panic wasted oxygen. She observed. The chamber walls breathed, alive, organic, coated in something like glassy scales. Figures hovered behind a membrane, tall, translucent forms with veins that glowed when they spoke. The language wasn't sound, it was pressure, vibrations that pressed into her bones. Specimen intact. Cognitive resistance minimal. Initiate dissection protocol. She smiled faintly, just enough for one of them to notice. She is unafraid. Impossible. Evelyn spoke softly. You made 3 mistakes. The translator stuttered, struggling to parse human tone. Explain. First, she said, you underestimated curiosity. Second, you forgot what fear teaches us. And third, she leaned forward, eyes steady, you touched something you don't understand. Then she closed her eyes and whispered coordinates only she knew, encoded memories meant for one listener, light years away. Back on Earth, Captain Eli Ward, Special Operations, retired, heard the whisper through a corrupted deep space transmission. He hadn't spoken to his sister in months. When the signal hit his neural implant, he froze mid-breath. 3 tones, 1 phrase. Red Zero Protocol. That code hadn't been used in decades. It meant one thing: humans taken. The command channels denied authorization. Earth was maintaining diplomatic posture. So Eli went alone. Within 6 hours, he reactivated the Warden fleet, the old guard from the wars no one wanted to remember. Men and women who'd sworn never to fly again. They answered in minutes. Who'd they take? My sister. We're in. Out beyond Neptune, the horizon line broke stealth. A relic cruiser rebuilt by stubborn hands, its hull etched with names of dead cities: Kiev, Seoul, Nairobi, Sao Paulo. Inside, every corridor hummed with something forgotten: purpose. Eli stood at the bridge, staring into the dark. They think we're predictable, he said. The pilot, Lieutenant Mara Chen, smirked. Then let's be unpredictable. Meanwhile, Evelyn studied her captors. They called themselves the Vari, a species older than Earth's written history. They saw humans as data points, volatile primates that learned too fast. Their leader, the archivist, believed human emotion was a flaw to be excised. Emotion breeds chaos, it intoned. Evelyn tilted her head. So does ignorance. They dissected her words like pathogens, trying to isolate meaning. But every question she answered with another. Every scan returned noise. Neural mapping failed. Her brainwaves didn't align with any known species. Containment degrading, one warned. She's rewriting the field's harmonic. They didn't realize she was using their frequency system to transmit outward. Every heartbeat, every breath became a code pulse, an SOS hidden in biology. T+47 hours. The Warden fleet intercepted the Vari signal near the Ord edge. The enemy ship was massive, silent, alive. Eli ordered no warning shots. We're ghosts till we strike. Inside, Evelyn's cell dimmed. She felt the ship shudder, a rhythm she recognized, human engines. She smiled. Then came the first impact, soundless but absolute. The Vari ship tilted. Alarms, light, vibration, pain, rippling through its structure. External aggression detected. Identify species. Human. The word carried weight even in their tongue, an anomaly wrapped in awe. Evelyn used the chaos. She bit down on the containment coil until it bled blue light, then pulled. The field collapsed, melting around her wrist. She fell to the floor, free, lungs burning. Specimen escaping. She didn't run. She looked up at the viewing membrane and whispered, "Now you learn." On the horizon's bridge, Eli watched their cannons glow red. Fire pattern Delta. Mara hesitated. That's overkill. Exactly. The shot carved through the void, pure kinetic tungsten, silent lightning. It hit the Vari hull, cracking its surface like glass. Inside, the biological metal screamed. Evelyn sprinted through corridors that bent and pulsed under her feet. The walls tried to reabsorb her. She tore a fiber from her sleeve, jammed it into a pulsating node, and whispered her brother's name. Eli. Signal received. The horizon scanners blinked alive. We've got her beacon. Lock it, Eli ordered. Punch through. The docking spear breached atmosphere. Marines poured through, weapons humming. The air was thick, metallic, alive. They found her standing amid a ring of collapsed Vari. No blood, no wounds, just bodies paralyzed by something unseen. Eve, Eli said, voice breaking for the first time in years. She smiled faintly. Took you long enough. Then the walls roared. Containment breach. Protocol oblivion. The Vari ship began to metamorphose, folding inward like a dying star. Out! Eli shouted. But Evelyn didn't move. She pressed her palm to the wall, eyes half closed. They're connected. The ship is them. If it collapses, the data dies. Everything they know, gone. Good, Eli snapped. No, she whispered. We can learn from them. But they have to feel what they feared. She opened her eyes. I can make them remember. Inside the Vari network, consciousness was a river of light. Evelyn stepped into it, no body, no breath, only will. The aliens' minds recoiled. She projected memories, rain on skin, laughter, grief, a child's first word, a funeral on a quiet hill. Billions of sensory echoes. Humanity, compressed. The Vari screamed. Emotion tore through them like solar wind. For the first time in eons, they felt. Eli's voice cut through the calm, Eve, the hull's breaking apart. She smiled through the pain. Almost there. Then silence. The Vari ship imploded, light folding in on itself, leaving behind only dust and echoes. For 36 hours, nothing. Then a faint signal pinged near Europa, a single life sign. The horizon diverted course. They found her floating amid debris, unconscious but alive, wrapped in a cocoon of alien biometal that dissolved on contact. Her first words on awakening, "Did they see?" "Who?" Eli asked. "Everyone." Because the entire encounter had been broadcast across the Vari collective network, millions of connected minds now infected with empathy. Back on Earth, the footage went viral within hours. It wasn't just a rescue. It was a message. Humanity doesn't conquer, we awaken. Governments scrambled to interpret it. The United Coalition issued a statement praising Dr. Ward's survival. The public called her something else, the catalyst. But Evelyn wasn't done. She stood before the assembly weeks later, pale from recovery, eyes steady. "They wanted to understand humanity," she said. "Now they will. Because they are us, pieces of us, carried through what they took." Some applauded. Others feared. A senator whispered, "What if they come back?" Evelyn smiled. "Then we'll talk." A storm brewed over Pacific Command. The skies shimmered with aurora from residual Vari energy. Satellites recorded signals pulsing in rhythmic patterns, human heartbeat tempo. Eli watched from the balcony beside his sister. "You think they're reaching out?" "They're remembering," she said. "Memory is contagious." Weeks later, schools taught the Ward incident. Artists painted the moment she stood against the Vari. Psychologists called it the empathy inversion. But Evelyn stayed silent, working in a lab beneath Geneva. Her experiments weren't weapons, they were bridges. Samples from the Vari wreck showed hybrid properties, responsive to thought, emotion, and sound. She whispered to them every night, training them like children learning language. Sometimes the walls would hum back. A year later, a new fleet approached Earth orbit, massive, silent, crystalline. Panic rippled across the colonies. Eli prepped defenses until a single transmission cut through all frequencies. "We remember the woman who showed us pain." No weapons followed. Only light, hundreds of beams descending, harmless, illuminating cities, oceans, deserts. The Vari had returned, not to conquer, but to connect. Evelyn stood on the rooftop of Geneva Command as the sky burned with color. "They learned," Eli whispered. "No," she said softly. "They're still learning. Like us." That night, humanity changed course. The word Deathworlder became legend, not as a warning, but a promise. Because when one human feels pain, an entire species wakes. In the quiet after the light show, Evelyn recorded one last message. "To whoever finds this, emotion isn't weakness. It's memory made alive. They took me thinking I'd be data. I showed them what it means to remember together." She closed her eyes. The Vari signal pulsed once, twice, syncing with her heartbeat. Across space, millions of alien minds breathed in unison with a single human woman. Months later, deep under Europa's ice, a research probe found an artifact pulsing with dual DNA signatures, Vari and human. Inside was a single line of code in human script. Not conquered. Connected. Eli read it aloud and smiled. Guess she woke them after all. The camera panned upward, past the frozen moon, past the stars, until Earth glowed in reflection, alive, defiant, awake.